Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the BoricuaBC2 show. I am your host, Bill Cancel. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. It is Friday, April 18th, 2025. Lots to talk about this morning. So let's jump right in. First thing I'm watching is an interesting development that's happening with the war in Ukraine. Marco Rubio basically came out yesterday and said, unless there's some signs of a peace treaty coming up within the next few weeks, the U.S. may have to abandon its efforts. Gee, what a surprise that is. This is exactly what Trump wanted, I think, in my opinion, because he's not strong enough to deal with Putin. He wants this to be a European problem so he doesn't have to get his hands dirty on this. And it would not surprise me in the least bit at all if the U.S. walks away from this. It would be disgusting. It would be atrocious, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least bit if the U.S. walks away from these peace talks because they can't appease Putin, which is apparently what they really want to do. So watch for that. That's going to get very interesting in the next few weeks as Europe basically isolates Trump from this whole conversation, which would be exactly what Trump wanted. Trump continues to target civil social society groups. Now he's currently targeting Crew, the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics, also known as Crew. This is very scary because again, he's trying to go after his political opponents with removing tax exemptions and so on and so forth. Again, this is the heavy hand of dictatorship coming down. If you don't say anything nice about him, you have to pay the price for it. And what I find incredibly controversial about this, you can't say anything bad against him because you are the enemy, but he can do all the bad he wants because that's okay. That makes absolutely zero sense to me. Zero sense. If you cannot criticize the president of the United States, there's something fundamentally wrong with the government. So watch as we continue to hear that. The deportation issues are getting ugly. Trump is getting hit left and right by the courts on the Kilmar Garcia matter. This is going to get really ugly for him. And what really boggles my mind on this one is it's minutes away from fixing. All he has to do is pick up a phone call the president of El Salvador and say, let him go. And it's done. It would be a win for him. It would actually be a win for him because people in the United States would say, okay, he finally did something good. But because of the fact that Donald Trump can never admit to doing anything wrong, never reverse his decisions or anything like that, he won't do it, which is, he'd rather go through the embarrassment and the shame of losing in court because he thinks there he still has a chance to take everything up to the Supreme Court, who's going to rule for him, than just to do the right thing. And that's incredibly disturbing thing to see. Yesterday, we learned also that Trump was again criticizing Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. He's very upset with Jerome Powell because he's not lowering the interest rates. Again, I'm not an economist. I'm not a global economist by any stretch of the imagination. I don't understand. Maybe somebody could tell me in the comments. I don't understand the impact of lowering interest rates would have on the tariff war and the trade war that we have right now. I think it's because he thinks that if money's cheap to borrow, that more people will come to the United States to build factories and so on and so forth. But he's missing the fundamental facts. There are other extenuating circumstances as to why major companies are not coming to the United States to build factories. One, the cost is too expensive. Two, where are they going to get the raw materials from? They got to get them from everybody else. And if they're being tariffed, where's the financial incentive to come back here? It just doesn't make any sense. So I don't know why he's going after Jerome Powell, thinking that Jerome Powell's got the silver bullet. I don't think that's the case. I think Trump is the one who's just not doing his job, and his failed economists are the ones that are not doing their jobs, who got us in this mess in the first place. So I'm not quite sure what the whole thing is with the the interest rates. And the last story, it was funny on Twitter years ago, I coined an expression, stop calling school shootings, and call them Republican endorsed killings. Because that's exactly what they are. They are Republican endorsed killings. So before everybody jumps down my throat and says, how could you say that? Simple, because there's only one party every time this happens that says we can't do anything about it, and that's the Republican Party. Not the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is completely ready to go, pull the trigger on banning assault weapons and so on and so forth, stricter gun controls. They're ready. We just need Republicans to come to the table. So if the Republicans don't want to come to the table, then every school shooting thereafter is a Republican endorsed killing. And I'm sorry to say it like that. If it hurts your feelings, I don't know what to tell you. But that's my thought. And the reason why I bring this up this morning is because, again, Donald Trump talked yesterday about the shooting in Florida yesterday. And what does he say? People, guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's the Republican mantra. If people kill people with guns, why do the people have guns? This is what I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. And then the biggest argument that they have is that, oh, we have to be able to right to protect ourselves when if the country ever goes tyrannical, we have to have a right to protect ourselves. The country is currently under tyranny right now. What are you talking about? You can't have it both ways. You just can't. This totally makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But again, he's not going to do anything about it. So again, go back to my earlier expression. It continues to be a Republican endorsed killing. That's it. So everybody have a fantastic Friday. I'm giving you an early have a start of a great weekend. One more thing I did want to talk about too. Um, this was a bad week for Donald Trump. And if you look at the judiciary, you look at the tariff situation, this was another bad week for Donald Trump. And tomorrow we have a big march, 50-50 march tomorrow, which is going to be good because people are just going to keep reminding him. But if you're down in the dumps about what's happening, and I get it, we all are, I am, uh, keep looking for those small wins because those small wins keep coming and they're going to start to add up significantly over time. It's unfortunate that we live in a country where things run at a glacial pace. I really wish we were more like Brazil and Germany and all these other countries that when it comes to government leadership being corrupt, that they jump on it very quickly and bang, 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 boom, 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 somebody's in jail. Um, we tend to take things a lot more slower here because we're very judicious. We're very everything's got to be through a process. Forms have to be filled out, the whole nine yards. But we're getting there. We're making a difference. So keep that in mind. Things are starting to change. I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, or form that Trump will be out by Monday. No, that will not be the case. But Trump is going to continue to find himself and his administration to find themselves in a very precarious spot if they continue to violate the law and defy court orders and so on and so forth. And we are seeing that. We are seeing that. So let's see what they decide to do. So again, everybody have a fantastic weekend. Love you all, and we'll catch up with you on Blue Sky. Take care.